Hey YouTube, welcome to my review of the Sanrenmu 7094, a small folding knife with a few other implements as well, but I'm mainly going to review it as a knife and a saw. Right, I mean, I guess it's technically a multi-tool, but it's not enough of a multi-tool for me to consider it next to my Leathermans, of course. But it's got a flipper, index flipper, and thumb studs. Because the blade is not very heavy, you do have to do some wrist motion to get it to deploy right, or you can use the thumb studs. Alright, the blade length is only 2 3/4 inches. As you can see, it's got a cutting hook, a bottle opener, the wood saw, some screwdriver ends on those implements. Alright, but I mainly got this just for the saw and the blade. But first, let's demo the cutting hook, because that could be useful. It works well, as you see on the paracord. I mean, one firm pull and it'll go right through. Alright, so they did a good job on that. You know, sometimes those things are just ornamental, if you know what I mean. They make them so thick they don't work. But on this one, it does work. You wasted the paracord. Dude, that paracord added to the sum of human knowledge about knives. It died valiantly. I'm just kidding. Alright, initial sharpness demo. Yeah, as you can see, it does pretty good. This knife is about $15, by the way, so it was surprisingly sharp for that price. But it does get hung up a little, so I'm going to give it like a B- because, you know, it kind of requires you to do one smooth motion or just a really quick motion. But nonetheless, with a little touch-up, I'm sure that would be fine. Oh, this steel is 12C27, by the way. Yeah, that's a Sandvik steel. That's a good steel for such a low-priced knife. All right, here's the wood saw. Now, when you got a tiny little saw like this, to me, you're either going to use that for notches or stop cuts. You know, you ain't cutting down a tree with that, so yeah, to me, that's like a woodworking type of saw, so that's what we're going to do. I'm not trying to saw all the way through that. I'm trying to do a stop cut all the way around it, and you will see why. Yeah, I mean, the saw on this, you know, it's just like the little saw that you would get on Swiss Army knives. But this saw actually has its own liner lock. This saw locks, which the saws on my Swiss knives do not. So that's cool. It's got a liner lock for this saw, and the saw works well. I mean, within reason. It's a very short saw, but it works well for what I need it for, which is just making a stop cut, because I want to make a spike. And you'll see why the stop cut was there. Yeah, I mean, when you put a wood saw on a folding knife, I'm going to assume you mean the knife to be like some sort of, kind of like a Cub Scout knife or just a woodworking knife. It's kind of weird they put that piercing tip on the blade. Like, to me, that piercing tip doesn't really go with the wood saw part, but whatever. I'm sure they just thought, hey, it'll look badass. Alright, I can make do. But this is a small knife in general, so I think it's meant for on the go. Now, Sanrenmu, as a company, is pretty much a godsend if you need budget blades, especially for people who live in foreign countries where, you know, US-made blades would be super freaking expensive, or maybe they don't even ship to your country. So, Sanrenmu, yeah, it's a good name for in the budget category. Alright, so about 20 minutes later, that's what we come up with, the spike. Now, why would you make a spike as opposed to just a more conventional looking spear? No reason really, maybe just to practice your stop cuts. You see how that saw was useful, right? And my little spear there. Let us go hunting a gazelle. No, but alright, so this thing was decent for what I think they meant it for. But if you don't need a wood saw, which I would understand, click on the link, because at the product listing, obviously the website, they're going to show you a bunch of other Sanrenmu knives that might be more your thing. I don't know what they're going to have out by the time I post this. But most people already know about that brand. But if you don't know about them, Sanrenmu, they have a lot of budget stuff. You have to pick and choose, obviously. That link is a GearBest link, and you should know shipping takes a while depending on what country you live in. So I want you to have all the information. Shipping, I think it took like 4 weeks to get to me, so just be aware. All right, but I hope you enjoyed this video. A little spear making action on a very cold day. And, but yeah, cheap knife, but good steel for that price. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.